things shows clearly that we didn't really understand what religion is all about. Religion is to call people, is to teach people the way of life. Islam in particular. Okay. It is to teach people the way of life.
So are you talking about Islam now, or other religions?
Well, I have to lay emphasis on Islam because I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
But I want to believe that all religions, you know, teaches us, you know, how to live within a community.
Because
it is all about peaceful coexistence.
Peaceful coexistence. Okay, sorry to cut you short, because at times people would say, for instance, Christians at times would say it's not a religion, no, it's a way of life. At times Muslims will say, no, Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life. So can you...
Yeah, you see, they are right. Both Christian and Muslim, they are right to say that it's a way of life. Because, look, how do I live within the community? How do I relate with my neighbors? You know, if I proclaim to be, you know, a religious person, and within my neighbor, you know, I could not be seen as a peaceful person, then what kind of a religion am I, you know, practicing? It is a way of life because I should know the kind of education I'm going to give my children. I should know how I should teach my children how they are going to relate with other children within my neighbor. And then I also have to be a very good example, you know, to my neighbors. If I do that, you do that, the rest of neighbor, you know, does that, there's going to be peace. But when I see myself as the only person, you know, that knows it all, the other person does not understand it, doesn't know it, I have to see myself above that person, then I'm not calling for peace. You know, you also want to react to prove that, you know, no, what you are saying is wrong, my own is right. That is not what religion teaches us. And let's go back to the basics. What are those commandments? What did religion teach us? We are not supposed to lie. In fact, if we take lie among all other vices, if you are able to cure, you know, solve the problem of lie, you will have solved all problems. Because if you are not, if you are not going to be telling lie, you will not steal. You will not harm another person because you will be called and you want to deny it. You will not want to steal. So lie is something that, you know, one has to really wage war against, telling lies. So there are so many laws that, you know, deliberately we violate them.
Okay.
Telling lies, stealing, adultery, fornication, you know, forgery, you know, all kinds of vices.
Okay. Because at times when people say it's a way of life, they tend to distinguish it from religion, you know. But to you, will you say it's a religion and also a way of life, or it's just a way of life and not religion, or both?
I would say it's both. Why did I say it's both? It is the religion that teaches the way of life. So I cannot take religion away from it, because it is religion that teaches me, you know, how I will relate with my colleagues, you know, in the office, how I will relate, you know, with my neighbors. So it's both. You cannot say you can't take, you know, religion away from it.
They are intertwined.
They are intertwined, you know. So it's both the religion and then the way of life.
Okay, well, we still talk about broad issues, but let's focus on Ahmadiyya, Muslim, or Jamaat, and Nigeria. Okay. What are the beliefs of Ahmadiyya?
Ahmadiyya, we are Muslims. Ahmadiyya believes that Ahmad Muhammad is the prophet of God, and then we believe in the holy book, Al-Quran. We practice, you know, the 5 times daily prayer. You know, so we are not totally different from other Muslims. There is this difference, you know, perceived difference, that why is Ahmadiyya different from other Muslims?
So why?
You know, it is their perception that we are different, and that is as a result of our belief in the advent of a promised Messiah, somebody that came after, you know, Prophet Muhammad, you know, and that's the founder of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, you know, all over the world, you know, Mr. Ghulam Ahmad. You know, Other Muslims don't believe in him. So we believe in him because it's been prophesied that somebody will come after him. That is just the difference. That's just the difference. Aside from that, we do the same thing. We pray, the same way. We believe in the same, Holy Quran, the Hadith. So apart from that, there are no other difference between ourselves and other Muslims.
And you go to Mecca.
You go to Mecca, so nobody suffers from going to Mecca.
Well, with my knowledge in Islam, I know we have the Sunni, we have the Shiites, and we had about this year the so-called leader of the Shia group in Nigeria, Zaki, many believe that he has been unlawfully, detained by the federal government, and they've had protests. At some point it became violent. What's your position?
See, look, I will still repeat what I said the other time. If you are truly preaching the word of God, violence should not come in at all. Be it Shiite, Sunni, the Azasaki group, I think they've been in Nigeria for quite a while, and nobody has protested against their assistance, But a situation where you now resort to violence, we don't believe in violence. If you don't believe in violence, you resorted to violence to the sense of, carrying arms, jumping on vehicles, so that kind of, violence attitude is what we do not, support that, It is not their own faith that we don't support or we don't believe in. No, we don't have any issue with that. But when it comes to the issue of violence, Ahmadiyya will distance yourself from that. So that is our position. However, the government too, should also follow the rules that they have set. If somebody has committed an offense, of course the laws are there. You prosecute, and when the court says, okay, grant this person bail, of course you have to obey the court. Granting bail, allow him to be coming to answer the case from home. So that is not to say that you have you are weak. No, it doesn't mean that you are weak. You are only, fulfilling the obligation of, obeying the Constitution of Nigeria that you have, sworn, to defend. So we do not support violence in any manner. So be it Shia, be it Sunni, and if you look at it all over the world, the difference is this violence. Take violence away from it, everything is fine, So for us as an Ahmadi, we do not have anything against Shia, we don't have anything against Sunni, What we distance ourselves from is violence. Islam does not preach violence at all, at all. There is no way in the Quran or Hadith that they can point to that the Prophet Muhammad sallam preached violence. It is absolutely, unfounded. It is not acceptable to us at all that you have to resort to violence because you want to preach your faith to other people. No.
Yeah, okay. That would take me to, people talk about jihad, and I know that there's a wrong belief, about it. They say it's the holy war. There's this misconception. Can you shed light on? You just talked about there's no violence in Islam. It has no place. It has no footing. So, what is jihad? I know there's this wrong belief.
You see, it means how do I put it? Jihad does not necessarily mean you have to carry arms. In fact, you see, Prophet Muhammad sallam, there are some wars that he fought. The records are there. You recall, he came from Mecca. He was driven out of Mecca. That's the word that we use, because he was preaching that, look, drop these idolatries, this is the way, to preach to God, to worship God. You don't have to resort into all these fetishes. They wanted to take his life to the extent that he had to, flee Mecca to Medina. In spite of the fact that he left Mecca for them, they still pursue him to Medina. At that point, Allah, instructed him that fight back. He has left Mecca for you. They accepted him in Medina. He got there. They still pursue him to Medina. What do you want him to do? At that point, he had to turn back and face them. So at that time, he fought, that, look, let me be. I have left your Mecca for you. So what's the problem? I have right to my own religion that I'm preaching. You can't stop me from preaching my religion. I've left your place. And here is the place where I've been accepted in Medina. And you still pursue him to that point. So that is the war he fought. And I want to remind you that even after that war, he now told his fellow Muslims that, look, the jihad of this sword that we did is a very, very small aspect of jihad in the Quran. The real jihad is the war, you have to wage against all those vices in your heart. You see, why is it so difficult that you have to really wage war to win it? It's because it is only you that harbors those things in your mind. I cannot know what is in your mind. You know it. So, and for you to be able to fight against it, some people say, how do they put it? The heart of man is full of evils, that kind of thing. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, and for you to be able to, fight, so that you don't allow those things to really dominate you, is a word that you have to really fight within yourself. And I'm sure you will have found yourself in such a situation that the thing will just strike you. And no, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. There have been, one, we said we should believe in God and only God, no other things. Some instincts will be coming to you that, okay, look, they said there's somebody somewhere there, I can meet him, So, whereas, your faith, will be telling you that, look, you don't go there. Rely solely on Allah, only God. Don't go there. So it's a battle that you will be fighting. You will want to go. There will be temptations. You have to go there. No, I'm not going there. You see a lady, your mind begin to tell you so many things, So, and you have to resist it. So these are things that you have to fight within yourself. So you have the jihad of the heart, Jihad of the sword, that has ended at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. It has ended then.
So it's old-fashioned.
It is.
It's obsolete.
It's obsolete. There's no reason for it. Who is pursuing you? I'm in my house. Nobody is challenging me. I will start my prayer. Nobody says I should not pray. Like the Shia you talking about. Has anybody stopped them from practicing their religion? No. Nobody has stopped them until they came out in the procession and then doing all sorts of things. That is when they call for violence. So jihad has been misinterpreted. To think that you have to carry arms, you have to kill somebody because you do not believe in your faith. No religion preaches that. Islam in particular did not preach that. Now look, if you take arms because I preach to this person, you should accept Islam. He says he's not going to accept Islam, and now I have to kill. Then who are the people I'm going to preach to? If I kill this one because he didn't accept Islam, I preach to that one, he didn't accept, I kill him. Then who else am I going to preach to? So there will be nobody to preach to. So what Islam teaches is to, you know, call them, just like this program we want to do. The theme of this program is effective way of calling people to the way of Allah. Effective way of calling people to the way of Allah. You have to call people, you have to invite people to the way of Allah with wisdom. You can't tell people that if you don't accept my religion, I'm not going to give you food. If you don't accept my religion, I'm not going to give you that employment. No. If it accepts your religion because you have threatened that you are not going to give him that employment or give him one or the, he will just be there faithfully. Any little thing that happens is out.
Okay, I think you've been able to shed light on that, the misinterpretation about jihad. I wanted to ask before that, could one belong to Shiite and still belong to Ahmadiyya?
Well,
or other groups, we have these other groups in Islam, not necessarily Shiites, and still belong to Ahmadiyya.
Yes, because both the Shiite and Sunni, they are all descendants, of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu the same religion.
Yeah, but
along the line,
they split. The belief seems to be quite different. You just talk about them splitting now, because I think Shiites, they don't really fancy going to Mecca. There's a place they go to in Iraq called Kabbalah. You understand? So you just talked about that the beliefs are really different. You just talked about the fact that they actually splitted at some point.
Yeah, you see, look, in Ahmadiyya, we did not adopt that, okay, it is Shiite that we adopt and drop Sunni ideology, or it is Sunni ideology that we adopt and we drop Shiite ideology. The thing is, what is the teaching of Islam itself from the beginning? So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu did not, say in the later days there will be Shiite, there will be Sunni, so this is the one you should follow. No. What is the true teachings of Islam? And that is what Ahmadiyya stands for. What is the true teaching of Islam? So irrespective of whether you are Sunni or the Shiite or the, Ansaruddin, Nawaruddin, it does not matter to us. But let's go back to the basis. What does Islam teaches? That is the belief of Ahmadiyya. So it is left for a Sunni to now look at what they do, and I said, look, I think I better belong to this group of Ahmadiyya that preaches peace all over the world. There's no, you cannot find the history of Ahmadiyya any trace of violence all over the world. You see, Ahmadiyya, when it started, they said, it's not going to go beyond we are traveling to that place in a few days time now, Kodia, but Allah promised Messiah that is going to be spread, to all corners of the world. Today, Ahmadiyya has been established in over 113 countries of the world. So that goes to say that even at the seat of Shiite, at the seat of Sunni, you still find, Ahmadiyya, there. So for us, we don't believe in, we believe in the true teaching of Islam. That is it. We don't say it is Shiite or it is Sunni. No, we don't have anything against them. But when it comes to issue of violence, we have many things against them.
Okay. Let's look at other likely groups. You mentioned Asaruddin, Nawaruddin, now we have Ahmadiyya. Yes. Of course, one thing binds all of you together is the Islam. Yes. So is there a synergy towards the propagation of the religion itself?
Yeah, I will say yes. I will say yes, because there are some programs that we do together. We come together, so this is the way we should go. This is the way we should go. We sit down together, exchange notes. Even despite the fact that there are still some differences, and the differences, is just what I've told you in the beginning, and that is the issue of believing in the advent of the promised Messiah, which they don't believe in. But that does not stop us from, still coming together, work together, pursue the same agenda, of preaching peace, to the rest of the world.
Well, your yes, you dragged it a little bit.
How?
You dragged it a little bit. Okay, let's leave that.
Yeah.
Who are the Ahmadis?
Ahmadis are Muslims that believe in the advent of the promised Messiah. Yeah, those are the Ahmadis.
Those are the Ahmadis.
Yes.
But will you say Ahmadiyya has been able to fulfill its purpose of coming into fruition?
To a very large extent. To a very large extent. Particularly in Nigeria. I remember in those days, when we were very, very young, when an Ahmadi stands up to pray, he will fold his hands this way, and other Muslims, they went against it. Do you want to belong to those Muslims that will fold their hands when they are praying? So, but today, I thank God I'm still alive, and I can witness that almost all Muslims now, when they stand up to pray, fold their arms. When it comes to the issue of burial, Ahmadiyya has been preaching that it is un-Islamic, that somebody dies, then you now throw party, you slaughter cow, contribute money, people still went against it. No. But today, even though they have not totally dropped it, they are beginning to see reasons that this sin is un-Islamic. This is not what we are taught, about our religion. To the extent now that, they will now say that, okay, when somebody dies and want to bury that person, don't kill any ram or cow, no food, no celebration, just go and pray and put the person in the grave, and that's all, So they will now shift the day when they are now going to throw party, maybe they stay 30 days or 40 days or something like that, But even that one too, gradually people are withdrawing, from it. That's another example. The third example I will give is, in those days, when we have new baby, we give that baby name at the count of 7 sons. Let me use that word. Which most times it falls on the 7th day.
Yes.
And so they cry that Ahmadiyya, it's 8 days so that they give their baby, 7 days so as against 8 days, So this has been on, for a very long time, when we were young. But today, I can now see it among other sects, now going back to that practice of Ahmadiyya by, giving their in-charge name after the count of, 7 sons with 7 days. Sometimes it falls on the 8th day, sometimes, most times it falls on the 7th day. It depends on the weight being calculated, but they are now doing it. So this goes to say that to a very large extent, Ahmadiyya has really, achieved, their purpose, of course, not 100%, because we still have to really prove to them why they have to accept the promised Messiah. We've been preaching to them, we've been explaining, we have engaged them many times, dialogue, so, and some of them, are beginning to see reasons. And that's why you find some of them now will now say that, no, I don't have anything against Ahmadiyya. No, I don't have anything against Ahmadiyya. I now understand them. Okay. come and join them. Yeah, don't worry, I'm still taking my time. I will still come and sign bayat and become one of you. You know, just give me, let me take my time. You know, so to a large extent, I think we've been able to prove why they should be part of us.
So, which means Ahmadis are not meant to, have elaborate burial ceremony, like you just said now.
Not apart from elaborate. When it comes to issue of burial, a loss is a loss. Let's face facts. A loss. When it comes to loss of life, a loss is a loss. No matter how old that person is, when that person is still breathing, you are happy seeing him or her. This are grandpa, the great grandchildren, they love seeing, that great grandpa or great grandma. They love seeing him or her, So when that person dies, it is a loss. We can't look, and you see, people are funny. At the grave side, when they lower the corpse, because of the love, in spite of the fact that the person is old, they begin to shed tears. Kind of things, But moments after that, they begin to dance and he has forgotten. But of course, he will always continue to remember that he has lost something. So we don't believe in ceremony when it comes to burial at all. Not in elaborate, no ceremony. No ceremony. When somebody dies, we wash, we dress, we pray, over the corpse, put, do the interment, and then from there, it ends there. Yeah.
There are times, a popular person, people want to say, your mother died, but I want you to celebrate and all that. But basically, is there any punishment for any Ahmadi that goes against this?
There cannot be that kind of punishment that people may be looking forward to. Of course, there could be this person, you have gone, you have done what we do not believe in. So if you are an officer, of the Jamaat, of course you are going to be suspended. Because an officer is supposed to know better. So you are going to be suspended. If you are not an officer, of the Jamaat, you are not an office holder of the Jamaat, okay, you cannot know everybody. All we have to do is continue to preach to them. You continue to preach them and make them to understand. Because there are some that are newly converted,
Yes.
So, and, one would not expect that he will immediately drop all those, all those practice before, So you will still have to continue to, monitor him, So we do not really punish, but Islam did not say you go and punish this man, go and punish. No, there's nothing like that, But when you are an office bearer, we expect that you should know better, and an office bearer that is now going back to do, such thing, So, and I even doubt very much if you find any office bearer in Ahmadiyya that will go and be celebrating burial. I doubt it very, very much. I doubt it very, very much.
So away from burial, away from Nimi, what are other principles that Ahmadiyya is really meant to follow? You've cited 2 examples now. Do we have others?
Well, other than to preach peace, other than to preach peace to people, those that are not members, we want to preach to them that, look, accept the imam of the age. There are crises all over the world among Muslims because there's nobody in charge. There's nobody in charge, and that's why Sunni want to do their own, Shia want to do their own, Nawad want to do their own. When it comes to our own fold, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat all over the world, there is one person in charge. We call him Khalifa. So as Masur Hamad is our head. Is what he gives instruction. From UK. He's based in UK. He gives instruction, and we take to that instruction. On Fridays, we all observe the Friday sermon all over the world. So because of that cohesion, you know, is very, very strong, you know, between us. You know, so you can't just drop out of the fold. No, you cannot drop out because he is there. If he's not there, if you now have, you know, this one will say, I'm the head, he has his own, you know, things he want to, principles that he want to preach to you. Another head want to, you know, tell you, that, okay, no, these are my own principle, this is my own philosophy, you know. So, and that's why we have all these crises everywhere. You know, our supreme head all over the world has been traveling all over the world to U.S. Congress, everywhere to preach peace. Peace. Because why are we not having peace all over the world? Because of injustice. You know, it's because of injustice, you know, whatever these people tell you what to do, even all these international, the so-called, you know, advanced countries, you know, why are we having crisis over there? It's because of injustice. Nothing because of injustice.
Okay, let's get a little bit. I've wanted to know this for some time now. When we talk about music, because there's been this argument that music does not really have a footing in Islam. Music. Or what was the view of Ahmadiyya as regards music?
Well, of course, you know, there is no program of Ahmadiyya that we do that we now be doing music. You know, we don't we don't believe in it because there are no examples of it during the time of Prophet Muhammad Sallam. No example of it. Let me tell you one thing, because of the viewers that may want to say that no, what does this man say is not correct. When Prophet Muhammad Sallam, when he was coming from Mecca to Medina, the people in Medina, they were not, you know, Muslims per se. When he was coming, you know, because, you know, I may not remember very well, but he has a relation in Medina, and that's why he was able to go to Medina. They welcome him, that leave Mecca for them, come back home here in Medina. The only way they know they can welcome an August visitor, you know, is their own traditional way of doing it. And that's why they roll out drums to welcome him. This is what other Muslims will start as an example. That, you know, there was music to welcome Muhammad into Medina. You know, that is what they knew. But immediately he settled down in Medina and began his preaching to them. It was stopped. There was no music. He celebrated, you know, child naming. There were marriages. There were, you know, deaths. Nobody could cite an example that, okay, they played music for so and so occasion. So, and like I said the other time, that look, our own principle is based on the original teaching of Islam from the beginning. And that is what we are practicing. So if we are practicing that, anything that is outside what was practiced at that time, we don't want to get ourselves involved. And that's why, you know, we still do, you know, other ceremonies, naming, marriage, you know, housewarming. You will call people together, you know, we eat, you know, we drink, and then, you know, we pray, and then we disperse.
Yes, but during
that
this...
is not to say, I'm not saying that whoever plays music, you know, has committed a crime against Islam. I'm not saying that. I don't have that, I mean, you know, how to say that. You know, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm only saying where we stand, what our principles, you know, our positions, you know, is on that aspect.
So even during these ceremonies, you just pointed out, is music also is not allowed?
No, you're not playing music at all. You won't even have time for music. Oh, you cannot have time for music at all. Because, you know, the kind of lectures, you know, that you are going to deliver there is something that's going to take your full, you know, attention completely. You won't have time for any other thing other than that. This is a program where we are hosting about 40,000, you know, delegates. And if you go to Ilaro, you know, for the past few weeks now, you know, we find people busy, you know, working there, preparing for this conference, on their own. Nobody is forcing anybody to do anything. We call them volunteers. People will come there, come and work and prepare, feeding, accommodation, electricity, water. So you have people in this different side of, aspect of this preparation. Music, there's no time for music at all. No time for music at all.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, what would you say are the contributions of Ahmadiyya to Islam or to the public, at large? Well, if you can just highlight a few. I know it's a very broad question.
Well, Well, I can just summarize it this way: that we believe in peace, and we preach peace. We preach peace. We preach, justice and fairness. That is what we preach. Other than that, because when you see we call you to way of Allah, to believe in God, it will help you to maintain peace, to have a very peaceful environment, a very peaceful nation. That is the objective, and that is what our Supreme Head, is also preaching wherever he travel to.
Yeah. So what then is the target? I asked you about the fulfillment of purpose, which you've answered. So do you have target maybe in the next 2 years, in the next 5? When you have your conferences in the next 5 years, you want to have this number of converts? Anything?
Yes. It's very easy to set this target. It is our wish that we will have converted so many to our fold. And we are working towards that, and we want to do this one, peacefully, and that is what informed the theme of this convention that we are holding. Effective way of calling people to Allah. So if you have been doing it, and then the rate of convert, you want to improve on it, so then you have to sit back again and look at, okay, what else can we do? To improve, because every year people join the Jamaat. Every year people join the Jamaat. So at least for the report we gave some time ago, I think about 80,000 still join the Jamaat. People are still joining, even as we speak. Because we have our missionaries all over Nigeria. Preaching in the village, in the town. To people. So I cannot say that, okay, the target is so number, so figure. No. To say the target is so then you want to do that one by crook or means or what? No. Our own is we have to convert more people. So how can we do that? Okay, let's sit down and strategize. And that's what we are doing. That okay, let us convert as many as possible.
So you've talked about the theme, the effective ways of calling people
the way of God.
The way of God. So what are some of the effective or some of the ways of doing this?
Well, let me use this period to invite you, to this conference, because it's not something that I can just, say here within 1, 2, 3 minutes.
No, succinctly.
We have prepared lectures.
Even away. I'm looking even away from the conference.
Okay. Let me just say this. I said earlier on that you can only call people to the way of Allah with wisdom.
Wisdom.
You have to apply wisdom. You have to be God-fearing. You have to understand the position of that person you want to talk to. That he has his own opinion, he has his own right, he has his own right, to his opinion, to his own ideology, to his own, life. Once you understand that, you give him that, right that belongs to him, then it's going to be very easy for you to discover one person. But where you now feel that, no, you didn't understand what he's doing, it's because you lack knowledge, it's because, so that's why he's not listening. That's not, I have to take this method, I have to take this way. No, you are not helping him. First of all, understand, his own position. That look, this person has right to his belief. You have no problem with that. He has right to his belief. He has right to his own opinion. Then okay, how can I engage him to make him see reason why he has to change that belief, to my own? So it's something that you really have to sit down and really work upon if you really want to do it, peacefully. Yeah.
Okay, Alhaji, well, our time is fast spent, but on a broader view, I have to ask you this question. We all know we are not happy with the state of the nation. The development of the nation is not really going at the rate we want it, and people have talked about leadership problem. Nigeria is a religious nation. It's either you're a Christian, most times, or a Muslim, or a traditional worshiper. And our leaders also either you're a Christian, Muslim, or a traditional worshiper. Maybe free thinkers at times.
Right.
So in Ahmadiyya, what do you tell your people in the young ones talking about leadership, or programs? Because if you are saying the problem in Nigeria, we're talking about bad leadership, then what is the stand of Ahmadiyya? What do you tell your people? Because of course, some of your people are also in the are holding public offices and all that. How do you hold them accountable?
Yeah, what we tell them is to live by example. You cannot say because you have joined them, you're a politician, then you want to join them in their acts. No, you are there to set an example. You are there to prove to them that, look, you can be a politician, and also, be a peaceful person. You can be a politician and also be, a responsible person. Going there to lead, you should not resort to violence by killing people, burning houses, because you want to go and lead people. Of course, that alone shows clearly that you are not going there to serve people. So we encourage our members, to be part of to join, belong to political groups. We have some of them. And from time to time, we always call their attention to it. Look, you are an ambassador for Ahmadiyya in that house. You must be an exemplary person there, So so far so good. We've not had any reports, of anybody doing anything against, the belief of Ahmadiyya. So we encourage, our members, to be a politician if you so want to be, So, and for those that also hold other offices, So look, I have a farm, of engineering, and this is what I preach to my people. So you cannot say you want to cheat another person and go away with it. It is a totally wrong belief. You can't cheat somebody and think that it's also you will pay back. It is just natural. And these are the things we teach ourselves. Go there and be, absolutely honest. If your salary is 100,000 naira, do your budget within that 100,000 naira. It's common nowadays that an employee that is paid 100,000 naira, immediately he has that 100,000 for 2-3 months is not enough. So he wants to cut corners, he wants to see how he can, change some figures, to add more to that 100,000 naira. No, this extra you are adding to it fraudulently. You are going to lose it in multiples. You may not lose that cash, but you lose something more valuable than that you feel the pain. So these are the things we teach, our members and those that runs, organizations, These are the things we teach ourselves and we teach them too. And then we pray that, of course, it's not something that's going to happen, like a magic. And that is why, we still keep on to have, look, so many prophets have come in the past and are still coming, So for as long as, we are still human beings, that's every tendency that you find some people that will sleep, So, and that's why you have to, continue to they are waking them. No, you are sleeping. No, wake up. This is the way you should go. Don't go that way. These are the consequences of your action. All this moral decadence that is that is all over the place. In Nigeria today, is a result of our ungodly attitude. If we are truly, godly, all these vices would have been done with.
Okay, religious organizations now own the universities, hospitals, farms and all, and in a way, they also use it to generate, employment, for their members, basically, at least their members first before outsiders. So, what about Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat? Do you also have something in this line?
Thank you very much for asking this question, because there's something you said now. You said members first before others, and unfortunately, that is not the practice in Ahmadiyya. Our own is merit. We have an hospital. Go to Ahmadiyya Hospital in Ojokoro, you'll find Christians there. We have Muslims there that belong to different sects. You also find some of our members there. In fact, about 3 months ago or thereabout, I was fortunate to be part of those that this kind of appraisal are there. We have more Muslims that are not Ahmadi there than our own members. Go to our hospital in Apa, the same thing. So we believe in merit. We encourage our, if you are qualified. I was part of the interview session, for some of our staffs in one of the hospitals. The criteria we set is merit.
But in a situation when an Ahmadi is qualified,
yes,
and also non-Muslims also qualified,
yes,
of course it will go
of
to
course,
an Ahmadi.
naturally it will be. I mean, that's natural. I won't like to hear.
When the difference is also not much.
That's where the difference is not much. The fact is, if they are both qualified, of course, my first choice will be, an Ahmadi. And that's the truth.
So somewhat, it will still be a members force, at least in that regard.
Yeah, but we'll say the same criteria. And once he meets up with that criteria, then what reason do I have for not choosing him or her first? I don't have any reason.
Okay, time is really fast spent, but before you go, your message.
Thank you very much. My message to my fellow Ahmadis is to keep to the teachings of Islam, and obey, the instructions as laid down by our leader, the Husur, Azad Mansur Ahmad. We must always obey the instructions as laid out, by him. And then to other Muslims, all over the world, they should preach for peace. Peace and justice. I think this is my message to all Muslims all over the world. Let us embrace peace.
Okay, let us embrace peace. And from what my guest has been saying, one thing resonates, talking about peace. So why not? Let's embrace peace. So on this note, we draw the curtain on today's program. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been speaking with Alhaji Bankole Mufalilu. He is the Deputy Head, Administration and Finance, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Nigeria. You for watching. Why not join us again next week, same station, for another exciting edition of this program, Hot Seat on OGTV, the People's Telly. My name is Moses Ochewumi. Bye for now.